some sort of, like I said, like some sort of aggressive weapon. This is an act of violence against somebody to inform them of, let's say, their cruelty or lack of consideration or their brutality. So if they are ignorant and stupid, you shouldn't educate them, because now you've spoiled the experience for them. So if they're some sort of like traditional dumbass male,
write it on a postcard. Send it to Hallmark. I don't know if I could deal with large-scale battlefield-style horror where it's all anonymous mutilation, but did this nurse feel no gratification from saving lives? So there we go again, saving lives. No, you can't do that. Sorry, it's not possible. All you can do is prolong lives. So all you can do is set them up for the next goddamn offense. Alright, so there's no saving lives. Even if she couldn't save them all, she can't save any. Did she feel no connection to the people she initially wanted to care for? Is there no value in being present for someone's last breath? Listen, if you were in the goddamn room when my last breath is coming, I'm going to try to puke in your goddamn face.
He's exploring guilt by exploring the predecessor to guilt, which is the strange part, right? I mean, most of the guilt you feel is for accidents, right? You do something, you don't feel, you don't go into it ahead of time saying, I might feel guilty, and then you feel guilty and you say, ooh, gee, I was right. That doesn't happen. What usually happens is you're caught up in the moment, emotionalism, some other thing. You do something that was an exercise of poor judgment, and then you feel guilty.
The arguments have sort of been refined. They've been done over and over again. So the simple, silly little arguments between theist and non-theist, spaghetti monster kind of, all that stuff is over now. So you can't come on YouTube and make just silly little stupid arguments like, I think religious people are smelly. And religious cunts can't get on here and just do something stupid like, oh, atheists are bad and meanies, and blah, blah, blah. That shit ain't gonna sell, okay? There's a zillion videos already on here. There's a huge, giant legacy. So, yeah, if you're gonna do something, you gotta do something a little bit original, or you gotta say something a little bit differently, or you gotta engage in some different kind of fucking manner, because otherwise, it's all totally ignorable.
In your time, I'm not interested in socially networking. I'm interested in conveying an understanding. I'm interested in making the argument that defends that understanding, composing these arguments, structuring these arguments, and I'm not interested in bibble-babble, and I'm certainly not interested in personal critiques that are of no value and no function. I have no interest in commentary regarding my lifestyle, my hairstyle, my swimming style.
If you're going to claim subjectivity, that would basically mean that all perceptions of value are delusional. Okay, so you're basically just saying that if subjectivity means delusional, okay, there's two words end up being equal in a circumstance where you're going to claim subjectivity allows there to be equal opinions. Like all opinions are equal, any kind of crap you make up is the same. It's the same thing as saying all opinions are delusional. So it's almost the same thing as saying that God and value are the same thing. God is a delusion, value is a delusion. And I'm just like, what the hell?
Go to the store and have in my head the picture of the bill in the mail, with the 49% interest tied on, and say, oh, fuck that. Ooh, yuck. So it doesn't need guilt. You don't need all this emotional crap. All you need is a rational brain. And the difference between a criminal and a non-criminal is the one can do rational processing of the circumstance. They can see the fact that the end result will be shit. They can understand that the bill will be in the mail. And they can say, I don't want any.
Something like that. It's very hard to draw these lines between, what's pulling us and what's pushing us. Are we being pushed by the mechanism of hunger, or are we being pulled by the actual value of the thing we're hungry for, right? I mean, whether this gravity is something actually falling or whether it's being pulled, So those lines get a little tricky.
Yeah, because I had a risk aversion by nature. My nature. I mean, I can't. It just seemed having a little bit of a taste of what it was to be sick, be uncomfortable. Yeah, it just, no, you don't do that. You don't have that unnecessarily. You really need an important mission. Something important has to be happening for you to impose suffering on somebody.
It's an accurate description of what happened. I actually accused somebody of being a pedophile with actual authoritative statement, making it as a direct accusation that was supposed to be taken seriously. That's what your claim is. You think that's an accurate, again, so you think what you just did is accurate. That's the truth. You used the word accurately. I think you're a preposterous, lying piece of shit. I think you know the truth quite well, that I was obviously just doing satire, and everybody would know it's not a believable accusation. Anybody reasonable would know it's not a believable accusation. I pointed out why I believed it, because his name was Ronald. I pointed out the evidence that it was based on, his name being Ronald. Democratically, the argument's already won. Obviously, there's lots of people who have one kid that are in support of, you know, human existence and all that crap. They're not anti-natalists. I'm just saying in behavior they are. And I think that is an important fact. And I think it's a more important fact to realize that only a tiny percentage of that 28% is the ones having 5 or more kids, or there's these really huge amount of children. And that that's the real source of all the excess population. So the fact that there's excess population is a small percentage of the human race, and it really is time for the 90% to start telling the 10% to knock it off. This is bullshit. You're sinking our lifeboat. You're soiling our goddamn water. You're killing us. And that's a literal fact. Though that 10% is going to drown you in feces.
Truth at the end of this shit bow. Okay, this crap bow that we're venturing down. There's no magical knowledge at the end of it. There's a replicating molecule. Psychology's built to create wanty machines that go out and gobble gobble. It's fucking Pac-Man. That's all it is. And all the intelligence in the universe isn't going to change that category. Isn't going to change the fundamental truth of consumption, reproduction, cannibalism, addiction. Isn't going to change that there isn't anything here but creating unnecessary need.
Workers deserve, nobody should work 8 hours a day and not be able to have a decent roof over their head, okay, and eat some decent food. I'm not saying they should be able to raise 4 kids. I'm just saying they should be able to live a decent life. And if you don't think so, then I think you just fucking suck. Well, I don't accept them, so I guess the conversation's over, right? You're totally unyielding, so if we don't resolve these issues, then there is no conversation, because I'm not going to sit there and just keep accepting all your inane and stupid premises, especially this idiotic premise that I should somehow work to achieve my singularity personal happiness. I should somehow invest in that. I should worry about that. I should stress over that. But I shouldn't worry about my external effect on the world. That I should be worry-free on. Like, that's somehow supposed to make sense to me.